What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Medical Standard Podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm with my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Zach. I've had time to digest the loss that we took. It was a tough one. The season's over. Some things are going to be changing, and that kind of leads today's news right off the bat. Let's jump into it. I guess we're losing Mike McDaniel to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. Before we get into that, if you're watching on Twitter, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join there so we can see and interact with your comments. If you're saying anything on Twitter, we're not ignoring you. We just cannot see it. Please head over to YouTube, and while you're there, hit like and subscribe. The latest news, Adam Schefter, I believe around like 3 o'clock today, broke the news that Mike McDaniel is going to be a Dolphin. They are in talks, finalizing his negotiation. I'm personally a little surprised, but not as surprised after yesterday Friday, when they reported that they met with 10 hours between him and Dolphins owner Stephen Ross. What do you make of this move, Matt?
Man, first of all, 10 hours for a job interview was a hell of a job interview. I couldn't even imagine what I would, I think it's a little bit different than our typical jobs because obviously he's going to be in charge of, the team. It's the most important aspect. You got to get along with your general manager. You got to get along with your ownership. So that makes sense on that level that they're going to be really kind of palling around at the facility, but still 10 hours is a long time. It's sad to see him go, but at the same time, there's multiple levels to the whole thing. First of all, congratulations to him for getting a head coaching job. I know that that's something that he's been working towards for a long time. I think Jeff Darlington put out a screenshot of his career goals that he wanted to be a Hall of Fame head coach. So this is the first step towards that path. And for the 49ers, because of, that rule that they instituted that, we don't need to get into the details, but I think it's kind of a weird rule. But the 49ers are going to get 2 third-round picks for the hiring, just like they did last year for Robert Saleh in New York. So it kind of works out in both ways. I think that now we need to look at where the 49ers go for their offensive coordinator from here. And I think that might be something to look at in terms of an internal hire. Maybe this was, with the anticipation that he was going to get this Miami job, maybe that's why they pulled the trigger and brought in Anthony Lynn as well, which we haven't talked about. So I think there was open communication with everybody, and it's interesting to see. And I wish Mike McDaniel all the best of luck, except for that game where they come into Levi's Stadium, which I will be at with my wife next year. Good luck every other week of the season, though, Coach.
Yeah, definitely. Crazy 10-hour interview. I can't even imagine. I thought it was funny too. And I say funny lightly because it is with the Brian Flores NFL lawsuit going on. But the Giants were like, we are not going to hire somebody based off of a 20-minute Zoom interview. And the Dolphins are just like 10 hours. 10 hours. Yep. We're going to meet with you. We're going to meet everybody here. We got to make sure we all like you. I respect it. I really do. And I tip my hat, like you said, to Mike McDaniel. He kind of went viral a little bit in the past few weeks for his kind of crazy
the Mike Jones thing was the Mike really Jones. Funny.
His press conferences kind of took off, especially on Twitter. And there were a lot of fans with teams that have head coaching opening wanting Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
He doesn't call plays for the 49ers. I know he had a strong influence on their running game. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen now that he has full control over the team in Miami. He's got a Tua, which I don't know. Could you argue Tua is better than Jimmy?
I don't think you can make that argument. I think Tua is safer than Jimmy.
Just want to take a quick second to shout out today's sponsor, Acre Gold. Matt calls it our gold stamp just because it's 2.5 grams. I know you probably think of gold bars and you think they might be a little bigger, but this is 2.5 grams. I actually just got these 2 today in the mail. My subscription is actually going up. Here's my first 2.5 gram gold bar. So I now have 3 2.5 gram gold bars, 7.5 grams of gold here, guys. Look, the days of forking over hundreds of dollars to buy gold at once are over. You can now invest as little as $50 a month to buy gold. And once you reach the market price of 2.5 grams of gold, Acre Gold will discreetly send you a 2.5 gram gold bar in the mail. and that builds up quickly. Trust me, guys. You could set it to 50, you could set it to 100, whatever you want to pay. For as little as $50 a month, though, you could start buying gold today. Click the link in the description and buy some gold. Get it started right now. Thank you, Acre Gold, for sponsoring this video.
I think that Mike has been under the Kyle tree long enough to pick up a lot of those tips on how to get guys open, particularly in the middle of the field. So those are going to be areas where Tua is going to excel. And, it's just an interesting hire. It's going to be fun to see where it goes. And going back to, what you say about the 10-hour interview process after the whole Brian Flores thing, I think it speaks to, because there were accusations that Stephen Ross offered to pay Brian Flores to lose games. I think Mike McDaniel is a smart enough guy to do his due diligence. And so I think that this is going to kind of indicate what the outcome of that whole thing is going to be in a certain way. I don't think that he would have gone there with the knowledge that, hey man, my owner is actually going to try to pay me to lose. I don't think that's something in his DNA.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good hire for the Dolphins. And it's cool to see. I mean, this hiring rotation has been a lot of, other than Doug Peterson, it's been a lot of new blood, and that was something with the Brian Flores thing. Whatever you think of like all the other stuff, we know that there's still issues with hiring process or whatever. But the thing is, it's just like, you can be mad that you didn't get this job or that job, but the people they're hiring are getting their first crack. It's like, he never should have been fired from the Dolphins. I fully believe that. He was doing a great job there. But at the same time, it's like, man, you already had a chance. Let somebody else get a chance too. We always complain about the retread coaching hires, and we finally get some fresh blood in there. And this is just more of the same. Mike McDaniel gets his first shot at a head coaching job, and that Kyle Shanahan, the Mike Shanahan tree is just it's establishing roots all over the league, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah. Everything you just said, I love to see it, but I'm a little concerned with who he's going to take with him, because we were all thinking, especially a few weeks ago, that DeMeco Ryans would be the coordinator that's plucked to go start a new head coaching spot elsewhere.
Yeah, he pulled himself out.
He did. He definitely pulled himself out, which I love to see, because he
shows great self-awareness for him.
Yeah, I want to hone in on my own craft. I've only been doing this for a year. Let me perfect it. But it's going to be interesting to see who McDaniels takes with him. A few people, specifically Mike LaFleur, went with Saleh when he went to New York. I guess we'll have to wait and see who follows McDaniel to Miami.
I really do think that's why Anthony Lynn was hired, because that came out of nowhere. Like, nobody was even talking about Anthony Lynn anything. We were really talking about, Embry getting fired, and it was like, what was that all about? And, there were some weird accusations around that, but I think we can kind of put those to bed. The Anthony Lynn hire, I think, is a good one. I thought he did a decent job with the Chargers. I don't think that he was cut out necessarily or prepared in that instance to be a head coach. But as a coordinator, he's been really, really good. And so I'm not upset about that at all. But Mike McDaniel, you talk about who's leaving. He's not the only coach to leave. The Chicago Bears poached Richard Hightower from us, which means our special teams are just going to get better. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's very, very rare that a good team blocks a lateral move for a position coach. I think that kind of says it all right there. They're like, oh, you want it for the same spot? All right, cool. Go have fun.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere his contract was up. But if not, then they were kind of like, all right, we're not going to stop you. Yeah. It just kind of indicates where they were with him.